So, how to fix hardware problems detected during Memtest or Windows Diagnostic tests like this one that you are seeing. I ran this test because this PC is randomly crashing Windows or freezing. So before you buy a new parts or send your PC to repair, you can try these methods. I will show you, but first I will show you how to do a Windows diagnostic test or basically Windows built-in Memtest. All you have to do is right click on Windows logo and type mdsked and then click the restart now and your PC should boot at the Memtest. Now, if there is hardware problems detected during Memtest, it might indicate problems with your RAM. But it can also indicate problems with your motherboard and CPU. So we will focus on on these three pieces parts. But the most easy to check is the RAM. So we will start troubleshooting it first. First thing you can do is just try resetting your RAM. It just means you will take it out and put it back and you can test it again your PC. If somehow it will solve the issue. But if the issue is still the same, you can proceed to try and clean the RAM. You can clean it using just clean cloth or you can use an eraser. But for me, I use an electronic cleaner. You can also use this to spray and clean the RAM slot. Just make sure to let it dry for several hours before testing it again. If you don't want your PC getting wet, you can also just use uncompressed air or air duster. Put back your RAM and test it if you still have issues. If you still have issues, you can try to test it with just one RAM stick if you have multiple RAMs and test it on each of the RAM slot. If one of the RAM is bad, replace it. But if all the RAM seems not to work to any of the slot, then there is a good possibility that the problem is not the RAM at all. Because it is very unlikely you have two or more bad RAMs at the same time. It's possible but unlikely. At this point, you should focus your attentions on your CPU. Why the CPU? Because it controls the memory subsystem, so a dirty CPU socket can also cause the issue. So, what you can do is remove your CPU cooler and CPU. You can also just check the CPU. You can just reset it a couple of times if you don't have compressed air and electronic cleaner. But if you do, it is better to also clean it. Clean the CPU and the CPU socket. Like I said before, I use an electronic cleaner. No, so I spray the CPU and the CPU socket very carefully. Uh, I do this to the CPU socket. Make sure you sprayed all the CPU socket. Let it completely dry for several hours. If you want, you can also include cleaning your GPU socket or your whole motherboard. Even though the GPU is unlikely the issue, because as far as I know, Memtest doesn't usually test the GPU memory. But it might be better to clean as much as you can since you're already at this point. No? After cleaning and drying, put everything back together and test again your PC. On my case, the issue finally resolves. No, I have no more hardware issues, and my PC is no longer crashing and freezing. In your case, the issue is still there, then it's time to send it for repair, or buy new parts or borrow to someone you know. Have extra parts to test for parts issues to make sure what parts is causing the issues. That's all, guys. Thank you for watching. Please like, comments, and subscribe.